Good evening, Lexington, Kentucky. Oh, hi everybody. This is Kathryn. Um, I am going to try a couple of different things today, and hopefully they will work out. So tonight we're going to talk about ghost spirits and the paranormal. And I did do some troubleshooting with the internet and cold packs. Hopefully that will keep the phone all cool. I've got my blue quartz here to help with communication so that I can tell you guys hi and give you lots of good information. So people are jumping on now. Hey Missy, hey Maggie, hey Luis. How are you guys doing tonight? Nice to see you on here. Give me some thumbs up and some love and start with your questions. Or if you just have a story about a certain ghost that you had an encounter with, I'd love to hear it. Hey Missy, how are you? So I was going to tell you guys a little story that happened to me the other day. And this was probably, I guess, a couple of weeks ago. But I was coming in from getting the mail. Hey, I'm doing fine. And I had pulled the door shut behind me, and I turned around to lock it, and the lock just turned by itself and clicked and locked. And I was like, okay, thank you, whoever you are. But that was just a couple of weeks ago. So my house, there's always stuff happening day and night. There are doors opening and closing, lights going on and off, and then this lock of the door. Hey Christina. So get on and give me some questions. Let's get some questions going here. Hey Cheryl. Hey Jean. Kisses. So David and I have been doing house cleansings for a really long time. And I think it's going on about 17, 18 years now. And we've seen and heard a lot of interesting things doing the house cleansings. Sometimes when we get into a property, and what we usually do is we will work whichever way is, like if we have a negative entity there, we'll do counterclockwise throughout the house. And move the energy towards the open entryway. Now, a lot of people will think, hey Christy, that the main house of the main door of the home is their main entryway, when it's not. The main entryway is the doorway that most of the people come and go through. Like some people have a door to their kitchen, and that's exactly where they're going to come through, and that's the main entryway of the home. So you have to question your homeowners and see, okay, which doorway do people come and go by more often? Hey Eva. So when we do like a negative entity, what we'll do is open or crack the main entryway of the home once we determine what it is, and then we'll move counterclockwise through the home with our devices and what all we use to push that energy towards that main entryway and out of the home. Hey Michael. So you don't want to get rid of good ghosts, though. There are positive spirits that are like from your family that are around and maybe in your home and attached to some items that you wouldn't want to necessarily get rid of. But when you do a cleansing, you can designate, you can like state any negative forces have to leave, but spirits from my family that are here for my higher good may stay. And so there's a big misconception about, if I do a cleansing, that's going to get rid of all of the beneficial spirits that are there. Let's see. Hey Jamie. Maggie says, What are your feelings about Ouija boards? Oh gosh, that's a good question. Should I get rid of it out of my house? I've been told bad spirits energy stay around by having them. If I should get rid of it for those reasons, let's see, how do you suggest I do that? Well, for one thing, never ever burn something like that. Never ever burn. When you burn something, that releases the energy into the environment, and that is an uncontrolled energy then. When it is attached to an item, it has some type of control that is bound to it. So if I were going to get rid of it, I would probably dig a hole, pour consecrated salt in it, and cover it up with earth, is how I would get rid of it. Now, my feeling about Ouija boards, that's mixed, because I know a lot of people say they're horrible and they bring in bad stuff, but we used to play with Ouija boards when I was a kid. My mom had a Ouija board that we got for Christmas, and this is a funny story. So she kept asking the Ouija board what was in one of her presents. And see, before it had always told her what was in her presents, because she didn't want to wait to open them. So the Ouija board kept saying, "No, love, you can't know, love. Like, I'm not going to tell you." So she got really upset, and she took the board and threw it in the trash can. So I didn't really think anything about it. But so I have mixed emotions about Ouija boards. I think probably if you have created a portal with a Ouija board and have had negative spirits or negative entities that have come through that, and that portal's already established, I wouldn't feel comfortable about using that board. It Can you hop back on here, Maggie, and let me know, is this a used board that you have or a new one? And have you ever used it before? Hey, Donna. Let's see what other comments. In public. Oh, okay, gotcha. Yes, this is recorded, so you can hop back on and watch it later, and it'll be up till tomorrow afternoon or evening when the feed pushes it down. But that's a good question about Ouija boards. I would be reluctant to get a used one, because you just don't know what kind of portal it's been used for. Now, people can make Ouija boards out of anything, like a cloth, and then they can write on it, or a piece of paper. You can make a Ouija board. What you're doing is you're just creating a portal. Now, for what reason, that is the real catch right there. What reason are you creating the portal, and who exactly are you trying to communicate with? Okay, Maggie, was this a new board or a used? Let's see what she says. She's never used it before. If it's a used board, get rid of it. And if it's a new board, chances are it hasn't had any energy attached to it or energy come through it. Let's see, Missy, what's your question? How do you prevent negative spirits from attaching to you when you do a home cleansing? Well, we go through, we do a prayer consecration, and then we do smudging, and then we carry some protective items, amulets, when we go to do home cleansings. Does that protect in every circumstance? No, absolutely it doesn't, because each house is different. Each property is different. The way that you're going to go about cleansing that home is different, because it's almost like an individual fingerprint when you go into a place. All these people that live there, the energy of the home, what all's in the home, it has to be so specific. So, and then you may run into something really, really bad that you hadn't planned on. So now I always go in thinking it's the worst, prepare for the worst, and if it's not, then that's better. But on occasion, we will drag stuff home with us anyway, even though we do the prayer consecration, the amulets, the smudging, and carry the stones. So all you can do is just prepare, and then if you find that you've brought something home with you, you have to go through the big rigmarole of cleansing the house and getting it out. Let's see what Doug says. Even in hospital rooms, too. There are several places that you can get an attachment. The first place, and that's the strongest place, is the hospital, actually. The hospital is the biggest place that you can get an attachment that comes home with you. Funeral homes are big, too. When we go to do home cleansings, that's another place. Graveyards. Graveyards are big, too. So let's see. Maggie, 4 years now, but since it hasn't been in our home, we've had much bad happening. Let me go back. It's new. You got it for Christmas. You know what? Since you're apprehensive about it, I would go with your gut instinct, because your gut instinct is there to protect you. And if your gut instinct is telling you that something's wrong with it or something might happen, best thing is just to go ahead and bury it in some sanctified salt. Hey Barbie, let's see what Barbie says. How do you feel about ghost hunters for entertainment? Ooh, well, that's a sticky wicket. I feel like the spirits are my family. And they are my family. Like, my mom's passed on, my dad's passed on, and I have a lot of other people, extended family, that have passed on. And it kind of hurts me a little bit if someone were to go, let's say, to the graveyard where they were, and to try to provoke them to make a response or give them some kind of, evidence. That really hurts my feelings. So I consider, when I go to communicate with spirits or ghosts, I'm communicating with people. There are entities that are not human too, but when you approach spirits, they are people. They just don't have a body. So you need to be respectful, and you need to follow all the social rules that you do in real life. So, but ghost hunting for entertainment, some of it's pretty fun to watch. But that's my answer for that. I just consider them, they're people. Let's see, Jean. What is the difference between a house cleansing and a house blessing, besides the obvious? Do you bless when you cleanse? Well, you have to do a cleansing before you can do a blessing. Like, the place has to be clean. And then you're instilling positive energy. In the first part, when you're cleansing, you're removing negative energy or a negative force or entities from the area. In the blessing, you're instilling positive energies and sealing the property to guard it from anything else coming in. So that's the difference between a cleansing and a blessing. Now, some people just want a blessing when they buy a new home. They just want it blessed. They just want to start off with some positive energy. And it may be that there's nothing there at the site to cleanse. They just want an imprint of some positive energy. Hi, Karen. So you can just do a blessing if you want. Let's see. Hey, Betty Joe. How can you find out who or what the energy is in the home? Well, you have to either put together all your information that you gather, like EVPs and pictures, and then the history of the place, to figure out what kind of entity is in the home. Or, if you're a medium, you can communicate with what's there and find out what's going on. Will they tell you the truth always? Nope. Sometimes spirits don't tell you the truth. They will present as a small child to gain your trust, only to morph into something really horrible later. So I'm always skeptical about little children in spirit form, because 9 times out of 10 is something really horrible. So I always get a little nervous when people call me about, there's a little ghost kid. I'm like, I don't know about that. So, but I try to remain open until we go and we actually look and see. Let's see, Doug. I usually curse when I clean. You know what? I curse when I clean at home with a vacuum cleaner. That's the only time I do that. Okay, let's see what Michael says. I agree that the empath is quite susceptible to negative energies. Yes, and the biggest reason why empaths have so much trouble is they use the solar plexus as a subconscious filter and pulls in all the information from the environment to analyze it. And so that's how empaths, how we check our area to see if it's safe or not, or to see if there's something that we need to know